at that point.
No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Like better turn green. Uh-oh. Oh, light screen. Goodbye, old maid.
Yeah, it's due to the way that it's written. The way that it's written, you pretty much need to prove that that they didn't
Where did he
plan
get
on
that?
returning
Who gave him
it.
that horn? Who gave that to
Even
him?
though realistically it would be GTA.
Fuck, that's loud.
You know what I mean?
Who let you have a damn horn?
What? Eugene.
Yeah,
let you
like
have that?
chopping cars and
Sorry,
stuff.
I
you
can't
have
hear
that?
over my horn.
Eugene, just so you know, disturbing the peace is a charge you do not want to get if you're getting expunged.
No, not even financially.
What's the answer?
It's just the way that certain things are written. I mean, the best
Right, I'm not sure if
example
the judge is already
is the way
inside,
that
but
terrorism is written.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh,
The
there he
honorable
is.
judge is right there.
There he is.
Because it's not the law
Happy
that's
New
being
Year's Eve,
interpreted.
Judge.
It's
How
the
you doing?
sentence
How you
that's
doing,
being
Judge Cayo?
interpreted.
Happy New Year's Eve.
Got
shit.
stuff a bench trial here.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. We'll bring him inside.
In a dream world, the way that I would
I don't
imagine
think
it
any,
is that we
belong
rewrite
on
the
the
laws
side.
based on, and this might actually happen. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Is start with a constitution, and then from the constitution,
Oh, Brian, we might be able to talk to the judge afterwards about the other matter that we were discussing.
Go ahead and walk through the.
oh yeah, hell
'cause
yeah, oh that's a great
He's the
idea.
judge. He's the judge I was recommended to talk to for this.
Oh, perfect. Right this way, sir. Is that a constitution be written? Everything has to point at the constitution at some level. And then an actual full-on law is written for each and everything. So it's like fully verbalized. And then the summations of that are put into the MDT. So you've got the summarized like small sentences, but they always like point back to full thought out, law. And that way, it also provides a platform from which lawyers and judges can argue amendments to said law based on precedences and
Absolutely.
whatnot.
Seem pretty
Not to
compliant. I'll go ahead
mention
and take this
actual,
stuff
like,
We'll officially recommend
logic-based
you don't try anything. I'm
arguments
sure you won't, but we just
and proceedings
gotta make sure.
can take
off.
place.
So what you want to do is you want to get the charges, time and fine ready. Just send it to email it to Judge Kyle when he asks for it.
10-4, sir.
So what I'm gonna do here to give you some experience, if you are okay with this, I'll let you lead this, and I'll be your backup for anything that you would like. But it seems like you're pretty confident on all them charges, except for the joyriding. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. That seems like that's a minor thing. If he pushes it, he pushes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We want to get that attempted murder.
10-4, sir.
Hello, Milton.
How's it going?
Hello, sir.
How we doing today?
Doing pretty good. Better send this guy to jail for the rest of his damn life.
Well, it's good on both sides. It actually makes, like,
All right.
intriguing.
Jail
I'm here
on
to
New
watch.
Year's Eve. He gonna be in. He
Law
gonna be
RP.
behind. He gonna see no damn fireworks.
Starting the decade off in prison, huh?
Yeah, ain't that a shame? Hey, it's
Because
like
the
an
problem
achievement, like
today-
achievement unlocked.
And it's
How
pretty
many people
evident.
can say, "Yeah, I spent New Year's behind
that-
bars"? Actually, probably thousands
not-
upon
I
thousands.
don't know.
mean,
Yeah, probably a lot.
I don't want to get too much into it.
incarceration system is actually
It's a large
preposterous. You send
conversation.
people to jail for petty charges and shit. They don't need to go in there. A little bit of weed, and they're in
Yeah, a
jail
little bit of
awaiting
weed.
trial.
I know.
You know, tax money got to pay. Anyways, I ain't gonna get.
That's
I
a
ain't
story
gonna
for
get-
another day.
Yeah, it's a story for another day.
Do we need to call down Mac?
What
the hell?
Do you
Gunshots.
feel like we need him?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
All right.
There's like lots of automatic gunfire out there.
I might not be the best idea. They need all the help they can get right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's crazy. I feel like they've been in that same situation for 25 minutes. The entire time I've been downstairs.
Dun, 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 dun.
But you said solo was something that's a challenge. So you said just everything at once is a challenge for you, but like individually, you feel you're okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think solo, like I've only done solo like at most like a day max, like in
Okay.
total. Yeah,
I
and that
think
always
when you
tends
get-
to be the most difficult because it's just like you don't really have a partner to split up the workload with.
Right. Well, always remember you're only one person. You can only do so much, and it's not up to you to respond to every single thing. Sometimes you just can't.
Ignore the way I look. I don't know. I blame the people that build the city.
Yes, Yana.
I woke up like this. Don't look at my eyes.
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
don't want to turn to stone, Yana.
I woke up like this.
Looks good, Yana.
Uh-huh. Alright, who's the defendant?
This sir right here, Dick is
Yeah, Dick Smith.
Dick Smith.
Alright. Can you email me the charges, please?
Yes, sir. The charges are as follows. Can you hear me right now?
Can you email them to me?
Yeah, I said prepare the
10-4.
email.
Usually on the
Yeah.
PS apps, the best.
Could you email me a copy of the final charges as well, just so I'm completely sure? I believe I have them all, but
Brian is always going to push the right charges, regardless of whether a judge agrees with him or not.
Mr. Smith. With the Dick Smith, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're always going to fight
Robbery,
for the
how do you
right
plead?
charges.
Can I have one moment? just
Whatever
with
Brian
my,
believes is the right
okay.
charges. Let's put it that way. And then if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't
guilty
stick,
to,
it gives Brian a means by which how to
robbery.
argue it different
Reckless
next
evading, how do
time.
you plead?
Guilty.
Possession of a class 2, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Attempted murder on a government employee, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Joyriding?
Not guilty.
And resisting arrest.
Not guilty.
Okay. Who's the arresting officer?
I am, sir. Brian Knight, 585.
Mr. Brad Knight, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you Ghost Stalker?
Yes, sir.
Alright, what happened?
So, my partner and I, Mr. Lyon, we responded to a alarm being set off at a store. We checked the security camera in which we saw this individual right here breaking into a register. We arrived on scene, saw the individual get into a Comet and begin to drive off. He did not obey or react to our police sirens and lights for pulling over and kept on going. This turned into about a 30-minute car chase, after which time, at the end of which, we disabled the vehicle with a pit maneuver. The gentleman then got out of the vehicle and attempted to flee. After multiple attempts to telling him to stop where he was and to stop resisting, he continued to run, after which he was brought down, and we began to cuff him. The gentleman broke out of cuffs and then pulled out a Class 2 firearm, the shotgun specifically, and started shooting up my partner right here, after which we put him down, sir, with our weapons.
Okay, when you shot your partner, was he down, incapacitated? Was the EMS had to come?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Lyon?
Yes, Yana.
I can't hear you.
Yes, Yana. Yes,
You
Yana.
swear to tell the truth, the truth, to be Ghost Stalker?
That I do.
Okay, what happened?
Same thing that you said, sir. I was the driver of the situation, arrived on scene to that robbery that he was already looking at the camera for on Clinton Avenue. Saw the black and colored Comet leaving the scene. With that same individual that was seen on camera. Pursuit lasted, like you said, around 30 minutes. It was a long time.
This is our
Couldn't
first
get
bench
back
shot.
up,
I'm not actually sure how
because
it
there was
works.
another situation
If there's
going on,
like
but we eventually got
cross
some
examines or
backup.
like if we bring up more
which enabled us
information
to
over
perform
time.
a safe pit maneuver. God forbid we tried to pit him and we crashed or something like that. We had no backup, so that's why we waited. So it was a pit maneuver. He got out the car. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was a pit maneuver. The vehicle was disabled. We surrounded the vehicle and demanded that he get out the car with his hands up. He got out the car with his hands up and then ran around, evading us. He was tased, I believe. I believe he was tased or tackled. He was brought down. And when I tried to cuff him when he was brought down, he then pushed me out the way. Resisted resisted me trying to cuff him, and then pulled out a shotgun, turned around, and blasted me in the chest. I got knocked down.
When you got knocked down, did you have to have a medic come and pick you up off the ground? Take you to the hospital?
Negative. I did not go to the hospital. I got the wind knocked out of me, hit me in the chest. It was hard for me to breathe. I was coughing a lot. I couldn't really move, couldn't really walk. But I was laying down there until EMS arrived and they tended to my injuries. Luckily, nothing was too fatal, sir. I was able to walk out of that alive.
Okay.
It's not about winning or losing. It's about putting the right charges on.
Mr. Solomon, does your client wish to waive his Fifth Amendment right
Because
to statement, or you wish
if
to
as a
speak for him?
cop you're afraid of putting charges on because you think you're going to lose in court due to the way law is written, then
All right,
you're doing
I will speak for him, Your Honor.
You're doing injustice.
All right. Do you want the story?
One thing I will say real quick, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me over there?
I can hear you.
All right, good.
So in my client's view, he was.
One thing real quick I want to say: be confident in your answers. I'm not saying you aren't, but just keep that in mind. Be confident. Don't say "I believe" or "I think."
And as he drove away,
or,
he
yes,
did,
he did, or yes, he didn't.
He was
Stuff
in
like
fact
Makes sense.
trying to leave the cops. The contestation, in my point of my
Why even
client,
try? Because
is,
it's the
that
right thing.
He was not attempting to
Because it's
kill
not about
anyone
winning.
when he pulled
It's
out
about
the
doing the
shotgun.
right
It was
role
a
play.
moment of passion, and it did not.
It's not a video game.
It was a moment of
It's role
passion, action. He did not shoot at these police officers at all when he was in the car. He did not have the gun out when he was first running. But once they started to pull weapons on him and tase him and such and trying to cuff him, my client made the horrible decision. But, well, he didn't even really make a decision, to be honest. It was sort of just instinct, and he pulled out his weapon and shot. And he was tased when he was already, he was not a threat, and it was, he was just trying to defend himself in a manner that was obviously unlawful, but it does not, there was no malice aforethought, there was no premeditation in this, and it was simply a heat of the moment action that my client now regrets, but we do not believe meets the necessary qualifications for attempted murder. On top of that, with the charges of, I believe, I know joyriding and I believe resisting arrest, we are pleading not guilty to these because these have been tacked on by the officers in question after they realized that he wanted to go to a bench trial, possibly an intimidation tactic to prevent my client from utilizing his lawful right of a bench trial, and as such, my client feels that he is not guilty of these as they were not originally pushing for them, but are only using them to stop him from getting his trial.
Mr. Knight, is that true?
That is not true. In fact, we were originally going to go for GTA, and we brought it down to joyriding, and the attempted murder charge was given originally to Mr. Solomon.
Yes, sorry, not the attempted murder charge. It was the GTA was not originally included. The attempted murder was. I don't know. I didn't write down the resisting arrest originally, but I think that may have been my mistake in this. But the GTA or joyriding charge were not.
If I could add real quick, we were going to put Oxy on there as well, but due to the MDT having some sort of issue, that charge was not added due to complications rather than it being the right thing to add. Sir.
I got you. Well, let me ask you this, because Mr. Lyon's been in my courtroom a bunch of times, and I think he could testify to that. Probably seen me a lot. So he knows I'm a stickler when it comes to the difference between attempted murder and assault with a deadly. So tell me why this should be attempted murder and not assault with a deadly. What makes this unique?
This gentleman was given ample opportunity to give himself in. He intentionally broke his cuffs, and he could have ran. He could have. This scenario could have gone a bunch of different ways, but he very clearly pulled out his weapon, which he did not have out at the time. Pulled it out, aimed the weapon very consciously towards Mr. Lyon, and then started shooting him, after which very consciously started to attempt to shoot me and Mr. Mack. If this was a heat of the moment thing, well, that's a lot of decisions that were made in attempting to bring all three of us down.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
My client would just like to clarify that he does not believe.
How's this work? So your client doesn't want to waive a Fifth Amendment. He doesn't want to waive a Fifth Amendment right. He doesn't want to give a statement, but you want to speak on his behalf. But by speaking on his behalf, you want to tell me exactly what he's wanting to say, word by word. That's not how that works, Mr. Solomon.
All right, if he would like to speak, and that is fine. I think he was just he's a bit intimidated by the courtroom. He's just a blue collar worker, but I will advise him to speak, Your Honor. Yeah, he still feels that it is better for him not to speak, and I respect his decision. But if you, all he wanted,
All right. I'll go deliberate.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
were there any questions in regards to the joyriding? I know they tried to dispute it, but I didn't hear anything in regards to what that dispute was, particularly. 10-4.
You got something to say, Mr. Solomon?
Yeah, sorry. That's what I said before when my client's only dispute with that was that it was added on afterwards.
Was it added on afterwards?
Like,
Mr.
We're not. I'm sorry, sir.
Was it added on afterwards? The joyriding before his original charges?
It was added when we were cleaning up the report. Yes, sir.
If he wouldn't have done a bench trial, would he have gotten that charge?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay.
The question that we had in our mind at the time was whether it was going to be GTA
Joyriding
or gyrating. In fact, the reason why there might be a little bit of confusion is I always make sure that the client has, the suspect has a lawyer available. So while he was being treated, I called Mr. Solomon at the hospital to ensure that he was down at the PD before the suspect was there, so that he could be properly represented.
Well, you made the right choice. That is joyriding, and that's not GTA. So, all right. All right, I'm gonna go deliberate on this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
One
you,
other
Yana.
bit of information that may be useful
Yes.
is that
What's that?
we
Mr. Knott?
did question this man. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna forget that.
Okay, that's probably a good thing.
good shit.
Hell
Good
yeah.
stuff. That was very good. The answers are very confident. I like what you said about the attempted murder. You said, well, Yana, let's be honest. If this was a heat of the moment thing, that's a lot of decisions to be making in a heat of the moment situation. I like that. The way you worded that
Hell
was
yeah.
good. It's all about how you worded. Good stuff. I think we'll be good. And I don't know.
Regardless
if you noticed,
of
but
which
you
way
said-
this goes, I always want to push the right charges. I don't really care
Exactly.
what the judges have to say, because
Exactly.
yeah, it's about doing the right
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get. I mean, I'm the same way. Even some people, some lawyers, are like, hey, I'll let my client plead guilty to whatever you have. That way you don't have to do the paperwork. I'm like, sir, it's not about the paperwork. I don't mind. Like, I'm trying to get the right charges. Don't try and push this because of paperwork or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Like we're gonna lose this in court because of blah blah blah. No, that's bullshit. Push the right
Yeah.
charges and then push for the law to be fixed. If the
Hell
law
yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. I think.
Not
I
to
think we're
mention, I've
good.
seen enough times where one judge believes one thing and another believes another based on, English sentence. So
Well, that's the
I
thing.
mean,
They don't.
it's a
there's
roulette.
no. What's the word? I forget the word. Like starts with a P. Like when someone decides something, so then like the next time it happens, they use that as a reference.
precedent, sir.
Yeah. President.
This
yeah,
isn't
that-
real precedence. It's pretend precedence.
Yeah. But yeah, that was real good. I think, in fact, I think we'll get the joyriding because for a second, I was like, well, we didn't really push why he should get charged with joyriding, but they didn't really dispute why he shouldn't.
Yeah, that's why I
So-
figured I wasn't gonna give more ammunition because
I like how you stopped yourself.
yeah.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What-
Did you
what-
see that?
What the hell's going on?
What the fuck just happened? I don't know if the lights.
The lights were like flashing.
Yeah, good stuff. We'll see what happens.
What? Holy shit.
Brian's
you guys-
not
you guys
about
see that with
winning
the
in
lights?
court. That's the wrong
no,
mentality.
That's
I-
aliens
I-
attacking.
I really,
Okay,
I-
No,
let's-
seriously.
I'm pretty sure it was an alien.
Serge
Solomon,
just
come on.
tweeted out that aliens are attacking.
holy
Wait,
shit.
really?
I really don't like the concept of like doing less charges
what?
just
Monkeys are attacking
just to
in
get
a
a
spaceship
win
and ray guns?
in court. It's so
Not
weird.
the chief of medicine.
Yeah, that's why.
They're about to probe his ass. He about to come out. He about to come down from space pregnant
Yeah,
with an
and
alien
he
baby.
recommended I have a 5150 and not him.
Oh,
Who's the crazy one?
I mean,
Yeah.
this
It's so
might be the
weird
strangest
because,
thing in the city.
like, we don't
I
get
would see if
anything
this is
from losing
happening,
in
but it
court.
wouldn't
So,
be-
like, why does it
would be a
matter?
close-
Why does a
close
cop
thing.
need to win in court?
Yeah, we've had
What's the
a
value in
zombie
that?
outbreak. We've had a terrorist attack actually.
What's the
Long
role
time
play
ago.
value in it?
We all had to
It's like zero.
bundle down in Mission Row PD. They're attacking Legion Square.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got taken hostage.
Yeah,
by the
exactly,
terrorists in
Rogue.
Legion Square. I think. Were you there for that?
It just
Or
it
Joker
becomes
took us
like
hostage and demanded $2
it's
million.
just such a
That was
twisted mentality.
Sounds like an everyday
That is
criminal. That don't
outside
sound like
the
no
realm
damn
of
terrorist.
roleplay,
I'm
really.
talking actual terror. They were literally bombing Legion Square. It was crazy.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't call the Joker an everyday criminal because he might stab you for it, but yeah, he put us on top of like a big explosive barrel thing or the truck thing. It was,
Yo, let's catch up here. Yo, Sonny,
laughing too? Was
18
he
months.
smiling?
BT
Yeah,
Bam with the
he's
6 month
just
new
scary.
badge.
He's a scary man.
Infinity
He
with the
also
2
forcibly
months.
sterilized
Pop
the
Lord,
city, so I
thank you
guess that's
for the
terrorism,
8.
too.
Much love and appreciation. Record doesn't matter. Like none of that matters though. Like it's putting.
I thought he
it's
went
like
back there as a formality.
it's the mentality that certain things that have nothing to do with role play being placed higher in value than the actual
so whatever
roleplay
happens,
itself.
you press the charges accordingly. We'll set them in, and then we'll be on our way. Good to
It's
go.
the same when it comes down to like
I mean, you might
You know,
wanna
whether
stay
one-
here a while if there's
like, you
actually
know-
alien monkeys around, they might kill you.
the whole winning and
Look,
losing
listen,
thing shouldn't even
I've seen some
be
damn monkeys.
a concern
all
of
right?
RP.
I've
but
seen them.
unfortunately,
In fact, the other day I was chasing some asshole, and when I arrived on scene where they crashed, there were a bunch of damn monkeys running around on unicycles.
What the hell?
doesn't
Yeah,
matter
I
to
took
us.
one. I doinked the shit out of one of them unicycles, and I rode that shit around.
Yeah, the unicycles are really cool.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you took one of the monkey.
Oh,
What do
you
you-
ride
what
the
the
monkey around? Have 'em
Why would I
carry you.
take a monkey? You kidding me? You think
I
I
mean-
what do I look like?
Think a monkey's just gonna let you take him?
I mean, if you
Without a
could train 'em
fight?
right, you know how those like pallbearer
Every
things
defeat
where you have
is
4
more
people
role
carrying
play.
you around on like a little platform. That would be pretty cool to do with monkeys.
You want a bunch of monkeys to carry you around like a damn prince?
How do you
Yeah.
make sure they go the direction you want them to go?
Yeah, but the
they're
thing
not-
is,
throw
not
bananas in
horses.
the right direction.
You're not wrong,
Wow,
Beast.
I
But
see
the
how it
argument
is.
that I would make
It's like
is
that, huh?
that in roleplay itself,
You gonna pay him or what?
I mean,
yeah, that's like monkey slave labor.
What the hell?
That's not cool.
are you alone? I guess you do have to pay. 'em.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
the
That's why
police
I'm
dogs
so
are
much
paid,
against
right?
it,
So
JT.
I guess you would have to pay the
I hate to
monkeys.
see that in my own chat as well.
Wait,
Right.
do you guys pay your police dogs?
We pay the owner.
Got to break that competitive
Awesome.
mindset.
So Fenton doesn't get anything. That's good.
Oh, Fenton gets treats and dog food. He doesn't want money. See, that's why Fenton is pure. He doesn't care about money. All he
an
cares about
evil
is his
demon.
food and the people he cares about.
He's a
That's it.
demon.
He's a demon. You're damn right. He'll fuck you up.
You
but also
will.
protect this. He'll also protect the city and his people. And he doesn't get paid. Snow gets paid.
You know,
What Fenton does.
I don't know about protecting the people. I saw Fenton jump in a car and bite at the person who was driving it and made the person crash. I was going to sue him, but then he ran off.
A
you
lawyer
sue a
shouldn't
dog?
want to lose.
I don't know.
But
I really wanted to try
I
it
don't
out.
think cops
I'm pretty sure
should
you can't.
be afraid of putting on the right
You know what,
charges
if he
because
can have
in
that
role play we
collar
already
and
know
tell
that
people he's a state
the
trooper,
way
he
that the
can
law is
testify
written
in court.
is
That's my thinking.
not is kind of weird.
Imagine losing to a dog in court.
I would.
That would be something else.
Yeah, I mean, he is technically an officer. I think you're supposed to be able to call officers.
It's
in
like
court.
terrorism.
Well, so
Like when you
Yeah.
see
Fenton, you
someone
swear to say the truth and nothing but the
do
truth. so
clear
help you, Mitch?
terrorism and then you say,
Oh.
"Oh, I'm not going to give terrorism
That's what he would say.
charges
Arf.
due to
Arf.
the amount of outs there are."
Like what's that?
You know,
What's that?
it gets
What's
a
that
little
asshole
weird.
fake ass fucking pimp name slipback mother? Alabaster Slim, that motherfucker. All he did was bark at my ass.
So
like a damn
Brian
dog.
is gonna
Weird.
try to
I'm
win.
like, yo, what up, Alabaster? How you
court,
been? He'd
right?
be like, arf, arf, motherfucker. Oh, there it is again. Oh,
aliens.
Like Brian's gonna try to win in court, which he's trying to do. But see, we shouldn't
Oh,
give a
God,
shit
yeah,
whether he
it's gotten
does or
the
not.
judge.
But and then in
How would they
addition to
get in?
that,
They'd have to
Brian
get past
pushing
aliens.
charges that he
You think
believes
they can
are
say
right
through solid matter.
is
What
more
proof do
valuable
you
than
have that
saying,
they have this
"Well,
ability.
I'm not going to do this
proof do you
because I'm
have that they
afraid
don't?
that
They
the
have
wrong
spaceships.
judge is
They
going to
can do
look
whatever
over
they
it,
want."
and he's going to make a decision
Spaceships
based
are
off
not like
of
like
knee-jerk.
phase matter
Do you know what I mean?
transmitters.
Or due
I
to the
mean,
way
we
that
don't
the
know
law
how
is
they're powered.
currently
They might be
written.
powered by ectoplasm or
It's
something.
more, I think, intricate than that.
If they're powered by ectoplasm, the hit 2000 series Danny Phantom told me that you can use ectoplasm to go through walls.
I think this is a lot of speculation.
You know what? I'm allowed to speculate. I'm a lawyer.
The other thing too is I think it's very valuable for the
Okay.
officer to attempt to go for the
Oh,
charges
she's
they
back.
believe because
Oh,
it
yeah.
only makes them better at
Night,
arguing
night,
it
yeah,
down the
he's back.
line. It's a
Wake up.
reason.
Night, wake up. Night.
Oh, I'm
Night.
listening.
Oh, all right.
All right. So I deliberated on this. I'm gonna go through the charges. On the charge of robbery, I'm gonna find you guilty. On the charge of reckless evading, I'm gonna find you guilty because you pled, of course. Criminal possession, guilty. Resisting arrest, you broke the cuffs. You were running around with your hands up while running around instead of standing still. That in itself is resisting. That's not evading, by the way. That's resisting. Evading is only with a vehicle, but that's okay. So, resisting arrest. I'm gonna find you guilty.
Wait, did we put evaded? Not
Drew Ryan, you
resisting.
gave no defense to that whatsoever, except for they tacked on the charge afterwards. Now, I will say, since I've been a judge, that has been a tactic police have been using for a long time, and I'm not a fan of that. So this isn't the first I've heard of it. We shouldn't be trying to persuade people to not be doing bench trials. That's not good for anybody. So, throwing on extra charges because someone asked for a bench trial is never a good thing. Whether that happened in this case or not, I'm not sure. I'm not saying it did or it didn't. The officer said it didn't, so I'm going to go with them. Joyride, I'm going to find you guilty. Attempted murder of a government employee. Here's my thing on this, and Mr. Kareem knows I'm a stickler when it comes to this, is I like to base these charges, a lot of people put their eggs in the basket under premeditation. But the real important thing on this is the intent and the damage, right? I can poke you with a needle with the intent to murder you, because in my mind I think that's going to murder you, but that wouldn't necessarily be attempted murder. That just makes me an idiot for thinking a needle's going to kill you. But I like to base a lot of this off the damage that the thing did. Normally, if someone, an officer isn't taken to the hospital, and it isn't incapacitated, I don't like to do attempted murder. I like to keep it assault with a deadly. But in this case, Mr. Kareem told me that this blast hit him so hard that he was on the ground and he had to wait for the EMS to come and take him to the hospital, that the blast was so severe and so up close that I think that would be enough belief that this would be attempted murder. So I'm going to find you guilty of that. That comes with 117 months and an $8,775 fine. being that you did come to a bench trial, I'm going to reward you with that. I will say that you not taking the stand and you not giving a statement did hurt you. It's not always in your best interest to remain silent. In this case, that was definitely the worst decision I think you could have made. But I'm going to have you serve 50 months with an $8,775 fine.
Okay, Your Honor, just for reference, he never said he went to the hospital because he didn't.
I never said he did.
I thought that's what you based your ruling on. Sorry.
No, I said
heard
that the EMS had to come and help him on the ground.
Okay, Your Honor.
This case is closed.
Thank you, Yada. You have a good New Year's.
You too.
All right, so go ahead and it was a 50 months and $8,000 fine.
Judge,
Yeah.
I have a separate matter that I'd like to discuss with you, possibly.
All right,
with,
sir.
Mr. Knight, but,
I'm gonna
Okay.
just search you once
it's
again,
not
real
related
quick.
to this case, if that would be
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
One sec. Let me just.
Would I be able to get my repair kit back and everything?
Your repair kit was never taken from you, sir.
Okay, sorry, I
All right.
just Kareem
That
said
seems
it
to be
was.
okay.
Sir, did we take his repair kit?
So this is regarding.
Yeah, I did. I'll give it back to him. I took
Should
the
we
stuff off
seize
him.
the money off him?
Yes. If he was involved in that robbery, go ahead and seize his cash.
What?
How much time?
It was
What-
50 months and an $8,000 fine. So keep the same
8,000.
charges that we had initially. He's guilty to all, but then just give him the time and fine issued by the judge.
$8,000 fine, sir.
Let me just triple check. Let
Okay,
me
I just want to
triple
make
check.
sure before I
Probably
do
a
it.
good thing, to be honest.
Yana, sorry to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
That way we don't get anything wrong. $8,000 fine, correct?
It was $8,775 if I got it right.
All right, thank you, Yana. Yeah, 8,775.
There's your bill, sir. And
Thank you.
Let me
now-
give him his stuff back.
do we? Okay. Do we send him off from over here or bring him back? Holy
You can bring him
shit, that
outside
was a
here
lot.
And go ahead and instead of doing it right.
I wish we
right-
could
right
reduce
east,
it.
Bring him outside here and send him off.
From over here, sir.
Just pass this door.
10-4. Sir, if you could take off your helmet real quick for us, I'm gonna uncuff you.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Sullivan, I think that suing the power plant or the water treatment center or anything like that is gonna be pretty powerful. I don't know who owns it.
Do any DOC members?
Necessarily the
Okay, that's gonna be 50
yeah,
months,
yeah,
right?
I don't think,
Yep,
I just
50
don't
months.
see how that's even possible.
No
50.
DOC around. I'm not seeing him. And he clocked in, so send him in whenever you're
Okay.
ready.
I'll call him just in case.
Right. Good idea.
LSPD to DOC, we're going to be sending in a Dick Smith wearing a burger shot shirt and black leather pants, red shoes. He's going to be going in for 50 months. All right, sir, any last words before we send you in?
Stay safe, officers.
Take care.
I mean, it sounds like Mr. Knight wants to stop people from doing bench trials from what I heard.
All right. So what you want to do? That what I do personally.
I think that makes.
I did overhear that. Sir, I have no intention. In fact, I'd rather do a bench
Okay.
trial than anything.
Good.
Otherwise, I would have never
All right.
called a lawyer down or given
Right.
him the opportunity.
That's what I like to hear.
And like he kind of explained in the beginning.
Yeah, it may have been a misunderstanding on my part.
Yeah, so he gave you charges that we had currently, but the entire
But
time since he was in custody.
you were still investigating things. So You
Right.
didn't have the. Okay, I got you.
All right.
Right, yeah,
all right.
'cause
right.
we were debating.
I'd like
we were
to
debating
streamline
Grand Theft
the
Auto
process
joyriding.
so the suspect isn't sitting in prison while we're waiting, like,
I
you know,
got you.
10, 15 minutes for a lawyer to come down.
I'll be
And-
honest
and
with you,
that
Mr. Knight. The reason why I'm a stickler for that is because this has been a common occurrence that I've been having to deal with, and it's been really bad.
Absolutely.
Where people have been asked for a bench trial, and they're like, "Well, then I'm going to stack every charge that ever exists on you," you know, and then they're like, "Well, I'm not doing a bench trial then." It happens a lot.
The way that we've been instructed, sir, is we'll always put the right charges on, regardless. And if we feel like there's some leeway needed to be done, we'll use our discretion for reducing fines and times.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, in order
Just
to
remember,
keep proper
you don't
record
always have
keeping.
to go with the highest charge. I get attempted murder. You know, you got him guilty on. But there are lesser charges there to have it, so you can make deals to kick things down for. You know what I mean?
I don't
Well,
believe
Right.
in
you
that, sir.
You don't believe in kicking things down?
No, I believe in kicking the fine and the time down, not the charge, because otherwise their criminal record would not be accurate.
It would be though,
Unless
because
they
you
can,
could-
unless they can argue that the higher charge is not accurate.
Well, it could though, because you can be committing 3 different crimes in one act, and it could be any of those 3 different crimes, but it could only be one because they would go together, so you would only be able to pick one.
Oh, I
Right?
see. You're talking about stacking, sir.
Well, I'm not even talking about stacking, but I'll give you an example: receiving stolen property, grand theft auto, joyriding. Right? It's 3 charges, but they all kind of fall under the same umbrella, but one of them's higher than the other one. And technically, what someone could do could fall under all 3 of those. But it's up to you to decide which one you want to throw that under. And you don't always have to pick the highest, or you could pick the highest and try to make a deal where you go down with the middle one, even though that charge is all technically going to be under the same umbrella. That
Oh,
make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I do agree with that.
Right. So, in this instance, I mean, yeah, he did do attempted murder. I found him guilty. But he also did assault with a deadly. So if you wanted to, you could have said, look, assault with a deadly. Most of the time on these cases, I probably would have had him go to assault. The only reason I didn't find him guilty of assault with a deadly instead of attempted murder is because Mr. Leon told me he laid there on the ground.
That's huge.
If you'd have told me
Learning
he just
that
stood
piece.
up and used his AFAC and walked off and everything was fine, I probably would have found him guilty with assault with a deadly.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing, sir. I agree.
Okay.
Like if nobody went down, it would have been assault with a deadly.
All right.
Yep. And Mr. Knight, so I did talk. Mr. Coyote doesn't seem to think that we'll be able to sue Nestle.
I don't want to
sadly.
sue Nestle. I want to ban the pumping of water from the ground by
What?
bottled water companies, sir.
What?
What?
Huh?
In Los Santos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get water at then.
Through the tap. I don't want a private company to come in and start pumping our water out of the ground, sir. And ruin our ecosystem in Los Santos, whatever it is. And in addition to that, wouldn't want them to be able to do so at a low charge and then resell that water to the consumer at absorbent rates.
Well, a lot of water facilities that do your tap water, not all of them are government owned. A lot of those are private too.
Well, if it's private and they're using our tap water and adding minerals to it and then reselling it as spring water, even though it's not actually connected to a spring, then I think that should be not allowed. But I'm,
Yeah, you
I'm
ever
down
had
to make
spring
an
water?
argument for it. What's that?
You ever had spring water?
Actual spring water or like
Actual spring
labeled
water,
spring?
yeah.
I have.
No, actual. It's really good, isn't it?
Yeah. But a lot of
But-
bottled waters that say spring water is actually coming out of the ground. And it's due to the way that the legal finessing has been done. The terminology and definition has changed. So if it's coming out of the ground, and as long as that groundwater is connected to a spring, even if it's like miles away, it still can be referred to as spring water, even though it's not really spring water.
You know what? A lot of people don't know this, but if you switch to actual real spring water, because down the road where I used to live at,
money
back there
needs.
in,
Thank you for the 10
in
gifties,
Mississippi,
dude.
we actually had a spring. And if you started drinking spring water after you've been drinking regular water for years, filtered water, it'll give you diarrhea because your body ain't used to it being so clean.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
No shit. The thing I drink out the tap.
Well, no, it's a good thing. It gives you diarrhea because it's actually clean water going into
Thank
you
you,
that's not
Frosty.
filtered with all these minerals, and it just washes you out. Spring water is good.
Why
So-
why you so against? Like what sparked this? Like just leave the water companies alone. Just don't drink it.
Why?
I don't.
I mean, they're taking your water. I mean, there's like, look at what happened to Florida. Their entire ecosystem in southern Florida is completely fucked up because
Let's see how
people,
Florida won't be around long. One more hurricane and they underneath.
well, other states as well, they're pumping it out. And what happens is it pumps, and then the water in the groundwater ends up deteriorating, and so the rivers and the streams end up disappearing, and that fucks up the entire ecosystem. And you know what? We're not seeing any money coming from that because they're only charging, like, they're only having to pay like $5,000 or $10,000 to pump like tons and tons and tons of water that they're reselling and making billions of dollars on.
You did your research.
That belongs to us, not to them.
Yeah.
Why don't we get a shaman to do it?
I mean,
Can't shamans, can't they conjure water or something like that? From the
Get a
elements?
damn waterbender or something, right?
I mean, I could get the Ghostbusters in if that's what would help.
I mean, that money should be invested into local public waterworks, so we don't end
Or
up like
NASA.
Flint everywhere.
If you invest the money in the NASA, then maybe you can get our water from space.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
true.
You know, all the water on Earth came from space.
I don't know. Space water sounds fishy.
The water on Earth is space water.
You know, it's even more fucked up. Some of these companies are trying to. I mean, while it's true that not every public water work is like at 100% efficiency, the reality is a lot of tap water is actually pretty fucking good. But you know, with a lot of campaigning, they make us think that we got to drink bottled water and that our tap water sucks ass.
Well, in some
It's all a
places
scam.
it does. Like,
When in reality, at some places it does. And why aren't we investing into that instead of giving these bottled water companies like a bunch of room?
that's
So you
true.
think Fuji water actually comes from Fuji?
No, of course not.
Man, that's a scam.
Really? Wait, no, that has to come from Fuji. They wouldn't lie to us like that.
Oh, you know, I think I do know a bit about these water companies, and I think Mr. Knight here is completely right in saying that they're all despicable evil.
Where the
Hey,
hell is
I mean-
is Fuji?
Ooh, the Fiji, whatever.
Many
Fiji,
wants a
Fiji,
lot of
Fiji.
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah.
That Japan?
Somewhere over there.
I mean,
Is it? I don't know.
if we could get somebody to kidnap the CEO of Nestle and bring him into the city, could we trial him? Hey, it's not illegal if we're
you damn lawyer.
no, if we get a judge order to kidnap him and bring him into the city.
Yeah,
A
but
judge
it's not
ordered
really
it,
their
didn't they?
fault either. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we are corporate America, right? So, I mean, those
Well-
companies are just doing what they're able to do to maximize their profits. But it's our own fault
mean-
for having shitty laws
No.
and allowing.
The CEO of
Oh, so you're all for regulation, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Well,
right,
it's
so
not
get
even
the signal and
regulation.
fight it to the man, then.
I mean, it's not really even regulation. I mean, if you let a lot lobbyists for these, I mean, they're doing what corporations do, which is do whatever they can to maximize their profits, which means that use lobbyists to try to change things like definitions. But what's happening is that our politicians have a stick up their ass and they're sucking a lot of dick, and they're not actually defending us when they should be.
not you, Judge.
That's
of
a real
course.
problem.
Yeah, that is a
Look,
problem.
I mean, at the end of the day, who cares how much money they're making? They're giving water to people. That's like getting mad at people that donate a bunch of money and then under the pretense of them having some ulterior motive to get famous or to benefit.
Well,
at the end of the day, they still donated a bunch of money. Like, that's good, right? Who gives a
If you
fuck
look
what
up what the CEO and Nestle has done, Mr. Knight knows a lot about that, but I've heard a bit, and it's actually like the CEO is actually like saying that water isn't a basic human right and kind of stuff, and type of stuff like it's okay to charge people, the impoverished people like the homeless or such, for water that you've taken from them even if they can't afford it. Like for us, it's still bad, but they don't just operate in the U.S. They operate in like third world countries where they really,
Yeah,
really,
like Dasani and Coke.
yeah, they really just destroy everything.
I mean, then
Because-
again, I don't actually. Once again, I don't think it's actually the corporations that are the problem. It's the politicians, because, like I said, fundamentally, a corporation's always going to try its best to maximize profits. I mean, who doesn't maximize profits, whether you're a small business owner or a multi-billion-dollar company? The problem is that politicians who should be holding the wall up don't hold the wall up.
Well, there's an old homeless saying, "Eat the rich."
This is a deep conversation. This is too much for me. All right, let's
yeah.
just go at night.
10-4.
All right. Yeah, I think it'd be best just to petition Eugene from this point and hope he becomes mayor. And probably convince him pretty
I'm
easily.
all for. I'm
Eugene Mayor?
always
Holy shit, I
all
will
for
leave this city.
capitalism, 100%.
Thank you for
But
coming,
fundamentally, a corporation's always going to maximize profits, which
Where I
means
come from,
do as much as they can get away with that they're legally allowed to. And if the politicians move the fucking line, well, that's on them.
All right.
It's
Yeah,
not
good work.
really the
That was
corporation's
good
fault.
shit. That was good.
Oh,
That
thank you,
was real
sir.
good. Seemed like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit. I honestly thought we were going to lose that, but you know what? This is the reason why pushing it makes sense, because now we know that the fundamental is whether or not the cop goes down. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
up until
Well, yeah,
now,
I
I've
knew that
always heard,
already.
like, I've always
Nice
heard.
car, boys.
Hey,
What car?
I need to report a
Exactly.
theft, I believe.
I've
Yeah,
always
my car
heard
got
that you know, we got to reduce it for different reasons, but now I know what the specific sticking point is, which I
Yeah.
actually agree with.